environmental taxation, emissions trading. My friend Aldo Ravazzi and I were collaborators in ecosystem pricing and in environmental taxation issues. More recently, now that the environmental topic is more important, we recognize, and you said this yourself, that there is risk to businesses from climate change and the loss of nature. So we have TCFD, we have TNFD, which have been explicitly articulated in terms of risk to the business, so that they need to calculate their exposure to climate issues, their exposure to policy, their exposure to nature. And that's very clearly incorporated in the reporting agenda. And then more positively, there are opportunities that if policymakers are going to move towards sustainability, we will need new technologies, we will need new businesses, we will need new business models, and those countries and companies that get there first will benefit. And you don't need a better example than that than China. China is absolutely cleaning up on all the clean energy technologies. Why? Because they saw 30 years ago that this was going to be required. They have clear government investment programs. They do it. Now, I'm aware we have different political systems, and I have to say I far prefer the political systems in Europe to the political systems in China. But nevertheless, there is directed innovation going on there in a whole set of future technologies which has enabled them to be dominant. We need to learn something from that, and we need to see that that's the direction in which we have to go, and our politicians have to push our businesses to do that, and the businesses that do it need to be rewarded. So you're quite right. You said, is it regulation? Then there's pricing and taxation, then there's risk, and then there's opportunity. And businesses need to take all that into account.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you very much. Very interesting, this perspective on China. And Aldo Femia, our colleague and senior colleague on this kind of statistics. The Italian statistics system, Aldo, has made a significant progress on physical ecosystem account, which will soon enlarge the suite of environmental accounts, and will the user of environmental accounts perceive the importance of this step, and how well is the informative value of ecosystem account, their potential and limit to understood. And a last question in the question is, what is the main obstacle are you currently facing in developing robust monetary accounts that are trusted by key users like Minister of Finance? Is it a lack of data or a methodological uncertainty prevails? Thank you, Aldo.
Thank you, Davide, and thanks to everybody, especially our foreign colleagues who took the pain to come up to Rome and help us with making up our minds on the programs we should follow. And thanks also to the technicians in the room, whose patience I will try not to use too much. First, yes, great progress. Yesterday we've seen extent maps for Italy, some reasoning on conditions and on ecosystem services, but I must honestly and humbly say we are limited by several elements. I won't go into details. We've discussed yesterday not just the precision requirements, which, as Professor Giovannini said, may be a bit relaxed, to be as bold as the ones who created, and when actually we do that in environmental accounting, but also for conceptual flows, problems, as I showed yesterday, which cannot be just overcome by being courageous or bold. In general, the understanding of the importance of what's at stake, I think, is strong. But then we have different kinds of users, and we have different, and they have different needs. Scientists, for instance, understand very well the meaning of biogeophysical information that extent and condition accounts provide, and they would like to see more. Then you have other users which seem to be the most powerful ones in setting the agendas, and this is the central bankers, ministries of finance and economy, and they want to see money figures. And then maybe you have the general public who wants to know in general whether we're progressing or not. And at the moment, they've been sold the GDP as the indicator for that. Leaving aside the hegemony problem, which has been mentioned today by Eric Gomez. What we say is that to the users who want money figures, we can provide money figures with a meaning. We cannot just say this is the value of. And so there's a communication issue there, and so the understanding is there, but you have to accompany that. Of course, we will know more about this when the data will be out, and the ability to interlink the data with other things, I think, will be crucial there. People want to know what the impact of the projects on their territory will be. Think of renewable energy projects, of data centers. They have an impact on ecosystems, and people should be able to measure it, if not. And then to about the connection. First of all, we need robust non-monetary measures of ecosystems and of the services we use. And in this sense, there still is lack of data. You referred to methodological uncertainties. Also, those are present. I said about the interpretation, which is the link between the two. And the socio-ecological context thing that was shown by Kaya Oras and Avelina Helm today is the way to go to create a connection and to have it meaningful. So more than a lack of data, I see a lack of clarity on what is needed and on what we can deliver, staying within the boundaries of our profession. Which is subject to the law of repeated reputational games. You may, I'm talking to the economists now, if you do something wrong today, you're gonna pay it. Even if it pays off very well in the short time, you will lose your reputation, and that would be a great damage to official statistics. And so if the need is to have figures that don't mean really anything and even don't point into the right direction, it is not our job. An example in positive, or a possible idea that should be, in my humble view pursued, is that communication is has been tied these days a lot, well, today, a lot to the idea of having a single figure, Paul. In that case, it is the way we build composite indicators is crucial. You talked about minimum standards at the beginning of your presentation, and so minimum standards need to be incorporated in the way composite indicators are derived, meaning that the overall or the aggregated figure should not grow if some crucial minimum standard is not met. This should be, and I mean, there are plenty of methods to build composite indicators. I think we can manage that, but having thresholds that signal, yeah, okay, you think you're getting better, and you may be getting better in some fields, but if you don't in these other. And then, so this has left aside the problem of hegemony of the mindset, which also concerns the single figure versus multiple information issue. Thank you.
Thank you. In my little opinion, which solution on this measurement of nature official statistic, in my experience, it's important to communicate the communication of this statistic immediately, not to policymaker only, but to decision maker that include the citizenship, because the tension between the National Statistical Institute, states, markets, and we have to communicate immediately also to the decision maker, not only to policymaker. Taking for serious the appeal of the Professor Giovannini about the cost of inaction is the cost of not better communication on this one. So Stefano Menghinello is our Chief of Department of Economic Statistics for the conclusion of these 2 days of workshop. I thank you all to be here and to invite me to moderate this roundtable. Thank you, Stefano.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much. So, okay, time is running fast. I don't know how many of you have to take a plane within the next couple of hours. So basically, before thanks everyone for this very excellent and high-level meeting, I would just like to remind you that this is our centenary year, as you can see from the silver box. We are celebrating our centenary, so it is time not only to look back, but to look ahead. So the basic idea is that this methodological seminary was designed for the future of this institution, also for your future. We believe a lot on the fact that the statistical community is a community of friends, not only a community of scientists. So in our understanding, international cooperation is very important. Personally, I would say born and raised with Eurostat. So my generation, as many other generations, we were hired in this institution some years ago, 25 years ago, actually, because of you founding in building the European system of statistics. So we will be always very thankful for that. Eurostat, Europe has one of the best systems of data, and data somehow is equal to knowledge. And somehow environmental statistics has emerged after a long, very long history of one of the most important fields in statistics. We do not do politics, but we create knowledge. So somehow, there is a very a thin line between politics and generating statistics. We stay on the other side always. So we are always attached to the principle of official statistics, but we also are a research institution. We cannot be blind because we want to increase the knowledge. And I think that one of the main knowledge gap today is about environment effect, and also the impact of the larger impact on environment. To better measure environment, we need a conceptual framework. You know, some other frameworks are easier to be understood, to be classified and estimated. Here, we have to face a huge challenge, which also impact on the accuracy. So somehow we can be very accurate in measuring other domain, but in this domain, almost by definition, we cannot be as accurate as we should. That's why Enrico Giovannini was asking us to be more courage, because we have to also to release some of our, fears not to publish the perfect data. Since a couple of years, we are publishing in our report on the, every year we publish on May a report on the state of the country. So this report somehow collect all the data, all the survey, and we put all the information together, and we publish this report. And the last edition was the Century edition, and we are focused on human capital and social capital. So again, those are the two very, very important measures that we also have to improve in order to meet the requirement of the new GDP agenda. What makes, in my opinion, I'm not an expert of this field, what makes very challenging the work in this area is that it is clearly a multi-data source, multi-stakeholder domain. You cannot work alone. This is very clear. That's why I really appreciate this larger community that is supporting us in developing better statistics in this field. And so basically, I would like to thank every one of you. You made us very happy because you raised the methodological level of this workshop very well. We have very interesting contribution from everyone. Also in behalf of our president, Francesco Maria Kelly, we will keep going on this field. We have a lot of people that are interested in keep going and keep doing analysis and also in building statistics together. So thank you very much.